R-vee crash is here, and it's uglier than you think. Values are tanking, dealers are desperate, and some of the biggest names in the business may not make it to 2026. And the worst part? It's only getting started. If you think your R-vee is safe from this storm, think again, because the next 6 months will decide who survives and who's gone for good. Airstream Classic, the symbol that stalled. You've always trusted that Airstream Classic stood apart, a gleaming silver shell, handcrafted in Jackson Center, Ohio, with precision rivets and decades of heritage. But now, the numbers tell a different story, one you need to understand before it hits your wallet. In recent listings, a 2025 Classic 30 R-vee Twin shows a sale price of $156,960, marked down from an original manufacturer's suggested retail price of $196,200. That's a visible markdown of $39,240. If you paid full sticker in the last 18 months, your coach is underwater in real terms. Here's why it matters. That discount didn't come because buyers were lining up. It came because a brand that built its identity on permanence and resale strength is facing fading demand. Dealers report longer lot days, more aged inventory, and rising billboard signs reading extra dealer rebates on units that once held their value like gold. At the same time, the financing math changed. With interest rates rising, the monthly payment on a watertight Classic rose dramatically, causing some potential buyers to walk away. The price cuts followed the drop in demand, not the other way around. Here's proof you can verify. On the official Airstream Media website, the 2025 model year update for the Classic line revealed enhanced features such as My Airstream connected controls and upgraded audio systems. Yet there is no statement of volume growth. The fact that enhancements were listed without celebration of record sales is a signal. Production is being refined, not expanded. Now, imagine the effect. You buy the Classic, assuming the heritage guarantees resale value. But what happens when the market stops caring? Your asset turns into a liability. The same features that once justified premium pricing now serve as anchors, dragging resale downward. Let's go deeper. On listings of pre-owned Airstream units, the 2023 to 2024, Classic models are showing higher inventory days and buyer incentives. For example, one listing of a 2025 Classic, unused, showed a price of $182,600, which still required negotiation and carry costs for the dealer. That kind of inventory tie-up means the manufacturer and dealers face pressure, so corner solutions are typically discounts, longer terms, or stronger incentives. For you, that means your margin of safety just narrowed. If you bought full price 2 years ago, the drop is already significant. If you're buying now, the highest risk isn't features or craftsmanship, it's timing. The risk is catching the bottom of a slide without realizing it. As a protective measure, calculate your likely trade-in at this moment. If the listing price has dropped by more than 20% in under 3 years, assume your actual resale could drop further. You should weigh whether you're comfortable riding that decline or waiting until the market stabilizes. Another visible sign, the average listing price for used Airstream units is skewing lower. On the Classic.com aggregation site, Airstream listings across all years show an average listing of just over $45,408, including many older units. That tells you even the good condition older inventory is pushing down the perception of value. When older units saturate the market, newer ones lose future value by proxy. Here's the critical why. Airstream's brand premium relied on scarcity, heritage, and resale strength. When demand for high-priced trailers fades, the premium vanishes. Dealers are left holding units, production becomes less predictable, and resale value drops. If you own a Classic expecting it to hold value, that expectation alone is meeting reality, and you need to readjust now, not later when the drop is locked in. For example, if a 2023 Classic retailed at $200,000 and now a 2025 version is discounted by nearly $40,000, you face depreciation ahead of you. Every month you delay in acting or evaluating your position adds risk. The longer you stay tied up, the farther you could fall behind on value. And it is not just one coach. Thousands of Classic units across the country are hitting the same headwinds. Prolonged lot time, higher carrying cost for dealers, falling demand among the over 50 market who once drove these buys. That means your negotiation power increases. and your exit leverage decreases if you wait too long. Here's what to do. Check regional listings for similar classics. And note any sitting over 90 days, use that as leverage. If selling, forget heritage equals premium, price with logic. If buying, wait for mid-2026, when discounts peak from aged inventory. The Airstream Classic still inspires, but value now follows data, not nostalgia. Protect your money by timing the market, not trusting the badge. Now, if the heritage rig is slipping, what happens when volume brands collapse? Let's move on and see how the middle market players are already paying that price. Winnebago Vista LX, the middle class squeeze. When you picture the open road, there is a good chance the image that comes to mind is a Winnebago. It has been the middle class symbol of travel freedom for more than 6 decades, yet the model that once defined attainable adventure. The Winnebago Vista LX is now caught in a financial vice, tightening from both directions. Dealers across the country are holding inventory far longer than their lenders will tolerate. One store in Elkhart, Indiana, reported that its average Vista LX has been sitting for more than 130 days. A few years ago, those same units would have turned in less than 45 days. The slowdown is visible everywhere. Banners reading "Manager Discount" hang above rows of rigs that no one is signing for. Here's the math that matters. A 2024 Vista LLX 29 VIE carried an official sticker price of roughly $165,950. At retail today, multiple listings show that same coach, advertised for about $149,000 and some change nearly $16,000, vanished before the first mile is driven. Dealers are not marking down out of generosity. They are reacting to stalled financing and floor plan pressure. Let's decode that phrase. A floor plan loan is the credit line that lets a dealer keep units on the lot. When interest rates were 3%, that cost was manageable. Now, at 7.5% or higher, every unsold Vista becomes a slow leak of cash. Each month, the store pays hundreds in interest just to keep it parked. Multiply that by 10 or 20 units, and it becomes a quiet crisis. Buyers feel it too. In 2021, a standard loan for a Vista LX at 5% interest cost around $1,240 a month. At 9%, the same rig costs about $1,670. That $400+ difference per month has priced out the very families Winnebago built this line for. The result is predictable. Fewer approvals, more trade-ins underwater, and dealers begging the manufacturer for help. Inside the company's own filings, the numbers confirm the squeeze. Winnebago Industries' financial statement for fiscal year 2024 showed a year-over-year decline of roughly 26% in motorhome shipments. Management cited retail softness and elevated dealer inventories. That is corporate language for "the lots are full and the phones are quiet." Step onto one of those lots and you can feel the weight of it. The fiberglass shines under floodlights, but the air is still. Salespeople who used to work weekend crowds now polish decals to pass the time. Some dealers have started bundling accessories, awnings, tow bar kits, even extended warranties, just to move units without lowering the headline price further. Owners who bought early in the pandemic boom are discovering what happens when the resale tide goes out. Used market data from R-vee Trader shows 2022 Vista LX units listed near $98,000 after selling new for roughly $160,000. That is a drop of more than 40% in less than 3 years. Depreciation was always expected, but not this fast, not this steep. For the everyday motorhome buyer, that slide carries a second punch. Insurance valuations follow resale prices. When the book value falls, coverage payouts fall with it. So, if a Vista owner totals a coach today, the payout may be $10,000 or $15,000 lower than the loan balance. The owner keeps paying on a machine that no longer exists. Service centers tell a similar story. Mechanics who used to schedule weeks ahead now report gaps in the calendar. Owners postpone maintenance, hoping rates drop or markets recover. That neglect feeds the next round of depreciation, because used units with incomplete records sell even cheaper. There is a quiet irony here. Winnebago built the Vista LX as the practical alternative to luxury diesel pushers. It was supposed to be the safe middle lane, But the financial storm has no middle lane. When fuel, insurance, and financing all rise together, practicality loses its footing. The middle class that once kept production humming is now watching from the sidelines, wallets closed. Opportunity still exists for those who wait. By late spring of 2026, when aged inventory hits 12 months, true discounts, $30,000 or more, will surface quietly. If you own a Vista LX, hold steady, maintain, store, and watch listings flatten for 3 months before acting. This decline isn't about craftsmanship, but the cost of money. The road didn't fail the Vista. Economics did. Reliability remains, yet the market no longer pays for it the same way. And that brings us to what happens when manufacturers try to compensate by cutting corners to chase volume. Because when quality gives way to quantity, the real damage begins. And that story starts next. If you're following how deep this collapse goes, hit like so this warning reaches more people, and subscribe to stay ahead of the next R-vee shakeup. Share your thoughts below. What signs are you already seeing in your area? Forest River Cherokee. Built fast, falling faster. There is a reason every small-town highway lot still has a row of Forest River Cherokees sitting near the fence. For years, this model was the volume king of affordable towables. The dependable badge you could buy without mortgaging your house. But that same speed of production that once filled driveways is now the reason those same units are piling up unsold. During the boom of 2020 through 2022, Forest River ramped its Cherokee line faster than at any point in company history. Assembly plants in Indiana and Oregon ran nearly around the clock, building as many as 1,250 units a week across Gray Wolf, Alpha Wolf, and Arctic Wolf trims. It worked for a time. Dealers could not get enough inventory, and buyers signed contracts sight unseen. Then interest rates tripled, and what was once momentum became a millstone. Now, the receipts are public. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration lists recall Bulletin Number 2-4V093, covering roof seam separation on model years 2021 through 2023. The fix sounds minor, but it represents hundreds of warranty hours and thousands of frustrated owners. Internal dealer networks call it the soft roof season because service bays fill each spring with leaking Cherokees that should have been waterproof. Average warranty claims tied to Cherokee brand trailers rose 46% between fiscal 2022 and fiscal 2024, according to technician data circulated within the Elkhart service corridor. Those claims cost both Forest River and its independent dealers. Each hour a tech spends patching a seam is an hour that cannot be billed to new delivery prep. The backlog hurts every layer of the chain. In 2022, a Cherokee Alpha Wolf 26 DBHL listed at $34,900. By early 2025, identical units dropped to $19,500, about 44% depreciation in under 3 years. Why did this happen so quickly? 2 reasons: overproduction and financing fatigue. During the boom, Forest River flooded the distribution network with inventory financed on short-term floor plan credit. When borrowing costs jumped from 3% to 8%, dealers could no longer afford to sit on unsold stock. The company offered rebates, extended terms, anything to keep shipments moving, but the market was already full. You can see the consequences in real time. A dealer sheet dated March 2025 shows bonus cash of $1,500 per unit on the Cherokee line. Another memo leaked in June raised that incentive to $2,500, a rare mid-season adjustment. In plain language, the factory is paying dealers to clear the lots. Meanwhile, customer confidence is fading. On owner forums, posts reference warped flooring, missealed windows, and thin cabinetry, the kind of corner cutting that appears when production outpaces quality control. Technicians who serviced Cherokees during the rush now joke that they can identify a 2022 build by ear, the light rattle of loose trim on rough pavement. The brand's reputation, once buoyed by affordability, now suffers from what insiders call warranty fatigue. When a product demands too many follow-ups, dealers hesitate to reorder, no matter how cheap the wholesale price looks. That is why some lots have quietly pivoted to competing lines like Coachman Catalina or J Flight, leaving unsold Cherokees parked out back, waiting for buyers who may never return. Owning a Cherokee now means patience and precision. Keep every service record. It can recover 2 to $3,000 when you sell. Buyers should wait, verify recalls, inspect seams, and ignore clearance pressure. Prices will soften until mid-2026 as finance costs bite. Forest River plans slower, higher margin builds, yet the backlog remains. From afar, Cherokees still shine, but up close, they reveal a market built too fast. In this industry, speed costs money, and gravity always wins. Next, we will look at what happens when a luxury flagship confronts the same gravity from the top down, a collapse that proves no brand, no matter how polished, is immune. If you want real numbers and verified updates before the mainstream even notices, make sure you're subscribed. The next few months will separate those who understand the market from those who get caught by it. Stay informed, stay prepared. Newmar Dutch Star. Luxury without buyers. When a name like Newmar Dutch Star shows up on a lot, it still turns heads. The sheer size, the mirror-polished body panels, the whisper of the diesel engine, everything about it says success. But in 2025, that same symbol of achievement has become a stranded investment. The buyers who used to line up for luxury coaches are gone, and the evidence is sitting in plain sight. Across national listings, the 2025 Dutch Star 4081, built on a Freightliner XC chassis and powered by a Cummins L9 engine, once carried a suggested retail of roughly $625,000. Today, dealers are posting that identical model for around $580,000 with extended incentive banners. That's $45,000 erased before a single odometer digit turns. It isn't about quality. Newmar still builds to a standard few can match. The problem is math pure, cold financing math. A typical luxury class motorhome loan used to close at 4%. That was back when a buyer could put down $125,000 and walk away with payments near $2,900 per month. Now, at 9%, that same buyer faces payments over $4,300 per month. That additional $1,400 each cycle has emptied the showroom faster than any recall ever could. Proof of the slowdown came straight from the Recreation Vehicle Industry Association's shipment data. Through the third quarter of 2025, Class A deliveries dropped 44% compared to the prior year. For a brand like Newmar, which depends on steady factory throughput to cover its handcrafted production costs, that collapse hits hard. When volume falls below the break-even line, overhead turns every stored coach into a liability. Inside dealerships, sales staff quietly admit the pattern: 1 or 2 serious buyers a month instead of 1 a week. Meanwhile, inventory keeps aging. Each Dutch Star costs a dealer roughly $200 a day in floor plan interest and insurance. Leave 10 of them unsold for 90 days, and you're staring at an additional $180,000 in carrying cost. That math explains the silent desperation behind those event pricing tags. Even the used market reflects the retreat. A 2022 Dutch Star 4069 that sold new for about $600,000 now lists at $475,000. On the private sale side, some owners are accepting $430,000 just to liquidate before further depreciation. The so-called gentleman's coach has become the definition of soft luxury, beautiful, respected, and falling in value every month. Insurance carriers have noticed as well. Premiums on high-end diesel pushers rose nearly 20% in the last 18 months, driven by higher replacement costs and shrinking resale value. That means owners are paying more to insure a rig that is worth less. In risk tables, that's the worst possible alignment. At the production level, Newmar has already begun trimming sales. Industry monitors confirmed that the company scheduled 2 manufacturing shutdown weeks in early 2025. Officially for supplier synchronization, unofficially for demand correction. Line workers report fewer chassis deliveries and longer idle stretches between units. A temporary slowdown is normal. A sustained one signals preparation for a leaner lineup. Walk through a Newmar showroom today and you can feel the change. Lighting is dimmer, foot traffic slower, conversation quieter. Sales representatives who once opened with feature tours now begin with financing calculators, trying to fit a luxury payment into post-pandemic budgets. Many of their clients already own homes that appreciated slower than expected. Few are eager to add a six-figure recreational loan. The ripple effect is reaching the pre-owned sector, too. When new units linger, trade-ins stall. A buyer with an older Dutch Star 3869 from 2018 expects top dollar. But dealers can't justify it when they are discounting new stock by tens of thousands. That gap traps sellers between pride and practicality. If you own a Dutch Star, maintain it and keep every record engine fluids, generator hours, slide calibrations. Proof of care can add $10,000 to $15,000 at resale. If you plan to buy, wait. By June 2026, Class A inventory should bottom out, giving you real leverage as dealers face financing deadlines. The Dutch Star once meant limitless touring, but buyers now favor smaller, efficient rigs. Still, value remains. A depreciated coach built like a fortress. Late 2025 to early 2026 will bring peak discounts. Newmar's craftsmanship endures, yet luxury without buyers is inventory with shine. Even icons can stall when numbers outrun nostalgia, and that is where our road ends. At the point where beauty meets balance sheet, and where every decision from here must be made with open eyes and grounded math. The R-vee market's changing fast, and your wallet's next. If this opens your eyes, hit like, drop a comment with what you're seeing at your local dealers, and subscribe right now so you don't miss the next update.